Hello and welcome back to my workshop. Today I want to talk about bandsaws. I've got myself a new bandsaw, so I'm going to unbox it and set it up, but I'm not really classifying this as an unboxing or even as a setup video because there's loads of those on the internet. I really just want to talk about bandsaws in general, why I think they are so good and why they are so versatile. One of the first tools I ever bought was from Screwfix. I bought a Titan 80mm bandsaw. Titan is their own, Screwfix's own brand, and they're pretty budget, but it was at the time my absolute favourite tool and remained my favourite tool for a long time. Just so versatile. But the one thing that was holding me back was the 80mm maximum cut depth, which is about 3 inches I think, was restrictive on what I could do, and I wanted to do bigger stuff. So after a couple of years, after I'd sold quite a bit of stuff, I re-ploughed those profits back in and I bought myself a Lumberjack 14-inch floor standing bandsaw, and it was a complete game changer. I didn't realise how much of a difference there was between a budget bandsaw and a really good bandsaw. So most of the stuff that I'm doing on bandsaws at the time was quite intricate curves and things, so I was using a 6mm blade. So even though it was a 14-inch bandsaw, great big beefy thing, I still put a 6mm blade on it, and it just was a joy to use. However, I don't have a table saw in my workshop, very deliberate choice, and so I decided this summer to try using my 14-inch bandsaw as a resaw machine. So I put a 1-inch blade on it, and it took a lot of setup to get that to work, and I then had to fully tune the bed to be level, and I had to actually cheat with the fence because I couldn't get everything to line up. So I've actually done a separate video on eliminating bandsaw drift, which I will link to either up there or up there, I can't remember which, and I'll put a link in the description as well. So once I had my 14-inch bandsaw perfectly tuned and without any drift, I then spent the summer where in the Christmas season I tend to do quite small intricate stuff that I can put on my stall. During the summer I'm building much bigger stuff, planters, bird boxes, all sorts of things like that, much bigger. And so I've actually for the last 4 or 5 months actually had the 1-inch blade on the Lumberjack, on the 14-inch Lumberjack, which is great because I've been able to use it for resawing. But it means that I didn't then have a small blade in a bandsaw that I could use for doing the intricate work, and changing a blade on a bandsaw is the most painful thing, of all. That's the only bad thing about a bandsaw is how painful it is to change the blade. So I've decided I've still got my Titan little bandsaw, but I'm actually going to sell that, and I've upgraded to a 9-inch Lumberjack. I was so happy with the 14-inch Lumberjack, I thought I'd buy its little brother. It's a little benchtop one, and just generally I'm happier with the build quality. It's a much higher quality machine, and not actually, as surprisingly, not as much more expensive as I thought. I think the Titan one is currently on the Screwfix website for 160ish, and this shipped to me in the Isle of Man was 210, and it's quite a bit more of a machine. So I am going to unbox it, I am going to set it up, but I'm probably not going to spend the whole video talking about that. And so I'll turn the volume off and basically just build this in quick time. Okay, well, that was just a very simple test cut, but you can see it's cut a quite nice quite a nice tight circle there. And that's I'm pretty sure that's a 6mm blade that's on there. So that's what I would be using on my Titan as well. I talked earlier about the size of this compared to my Titan. This is a 9-inch. I think my Titan might be an 8-inch, and that refers to the throat depth. But the main difference, just unplug this. The main difference is that the cut depth is quite a bit more. This is a good 4-inch. I think the Titan was 3 inches. This is 4 inches, and that might not seem like a huge amount, but when you're pushing through a block, that would have been tight, if not impossible, on my Titan. Whereas it's quite easy here. So for the sort of stuff I'm doing, that extra 1-inch cut depth makes a huge amount of difference and makes the machine just a lot more flexible. You should always have that guide down as far as you possibly can, so that for whatever wood you're cutting at the time, so that as little blade is exposed as possible. I'm probably going to now sell my Titan, and this will be my second bandsaw. So why do I want 2 bandsaws? Well, changing the blades over between the big thick 1-inch blade that I've got in my big Lumberjack back to a 6mm blade that I've got in this is an absolute pain. It's just switching a blade. If you're just replacing a blade because it's gone dull and you're replacing it with exactly the same size blade as you had in there before, it's not too bad. It probably is quite easy, you know, in terms of there's probably very little adjustment really if you're doing like for like. But if you're switching between different size blades, then you've got to undo all of these guides. You've got to put them all out to their maximum setting, push everything back as far as you can, put the new blade on. You'll have to adjust the tracking to make sure that the blade is in the middle of the wheels. You'll then need to bring all these guides back in, set them all up like I did. Whereas if you're doing like for like, you should, in theory, just be able to just take the old one off and put a new one on. But if you're constantly going between a 1-inch blade and a 6mm blade, then it's going to be an absolute pain in the neck. So I'm just about to, ridiculous as it is in August it is, I'm just about to start on my Christmas season now, so I'm just about to start making all my Christmas stock, and there'll be an awful lot of intricate little cuts like that I need to do, and at the same time I will need to be resawing my wood down to being thinner as well. So I need both blades constantly available to me, and I just don't want the hassle of going through switching them over. So yeah, I'm very pleased with that, and I'm going to get my dust extraction in that port there. So it does mean you do get a build-up of sawdust in here, but the vast majority of the build-up of the sawdust is down here, and so if you've got decent dust extraction, that does keep that pretty clear. And you have got a tray which some of the dust will fall through into, so keep an eye on that and empty that on a regular basis as well. But overall, that's yeah, it's a nice machine. Oh, I haven't used the light. Let's just check that that works. Some people have complained about the light not working. Yeah, that's nice. I have got used to having a light on my big Lumberjack, so again, having one here, it's sometimes quite tricky to actually get it into the right place to shine on the material. I like to have it shining from the side, so it's sometimes a bit tricky to get it to shine exactly where you want it without blinding you. But it's a nice little addition to have that light. I thought it was a bit of a gimmick when I first got my other Lumberjack, but it really is quite nice. As you saw when I was trying to adjust, the lighting isn't the best in this old shed, so having that light shining right on your cutting piece is a nice feature. If you've got any questions about bandsaws, setup of bandsaws, or just general bandsaw questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. This whole buying this second bandsaw actually was started by the fact that I saw a scroll saw for sale on Facebook Marketplace, and I thought, oh, I could use the scroll saw for doing the intricate little cuts like this, and use my big bandsaw for doing the resawing. But I researched it. There are a few advantages for a scroll saw, which, for instance, if I want to do an O in the middle of a circle in the middle of a piece of wood, I have to go in through a gap with the bandsaw. I have to go in with the gap and then cut my circle, which means I've then got a gap that I need to close in some way. with a scroll saw you can actually drill a hole, take the blade off, put the blade through in the gap, and then just do your circle and then take the blade out. So there are advantages, but I just decided that if you look at the blades that actually come on scroll saws, they really are tiny little blades, and yes, it would allow me to do some extra things, but I think probably 6mm is probably the smallest that I want to go in my experience, and most of the ones on the scroll saws that I was looking at, 6 was kind of more like, well, a lot of them didn't go as high as 6mm. They were really quite dainty looking blades. So I think a second bandsaw with a small blade in is, well, it is what I decided to go for. I decided that was a more versatile option for me. So there you go, that's a bit of rambling about bandsaws, but I do find them very useful. I love them, probably my favourite tools in the workshop. No worry about kickback, which is why I don't have a table saw, and I just feel totally at home with them, but you should never really relax with any power tool, especially not with a blade like that. So I'm not complacent, but I do feel comfortable with them, which is why I love them so much. So if you've got any questions about bandsaws in general, or specifically about this bandsaw or the 14-inch Lumberjack, or even the Titan, then leave comments in the section down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if you've got time to like the video, that would be amazing, and if you've got time to subscribe to the channel, even better. Get my numbers up slowly, and until next time, stay safe.